Dr. Johnny Coleman used to say, it works if you work it. And what I like to say is, the trick is easy if you know the trick. So, and there's a trick to New Thought, and the trick to New Thought is actually really simple, even though it's kind of profound. So to illustrate that, I'm going to just reach out of nowhere and create something. Okay? Now, that looks pretty astounding. But the trick is easy when you know the trick. And what I'm going to do today is tell you the trick. Now, I see Christine and her husband, Bill Falk, who's a professional magician, Liam Lafferty, saying, don't tell him how you do the trick. Because you're not supposed to tell him how. And I'm going to show you the trick, this one, with a little handkerchief. I'm just going to poke it into my fist. Okay? The trick is easy when you know the trick. And New Thought is really easy. And I say that because people have been talking about community, and that New Thought, when they've gotten involved in New Thought Philadelphia, other New Thought communities, they go for a while and then they disappear. They kind of give up on it. And it's because it seems so simple. That's one of the reasons, because they're not getting fed like they were originally. So I understand that. My prayer partner, and we've been doing prayer together every week for 15 years or so, New Thought minister, and he's now retired, and he lives relatively close to a Buddhist center. So he is studying Buddhism. And we were talking about the difference between Buddhism and New Thought, and there are some differences. There's some similarities as well. In New Thought, we learned a very simple technique. And, I mean, we say it in the beginning of the celebration, it takes one breath. There's one power, love, intelligence that creates everything, including each of us. And we use that same power, love, intelligence to create our lives according to our beliefs. It's pretty simple. And there's a lot of detail to it. It is not necessarily easy to do. But the concept is very simple. We can say the concept, like I said, in a single breath. And if that's where we stop, if we, let me learn how to deal with that, and then I'm done, then it works, but we might have missed the point. And for folks who have gotten started in the New Thought teaching, who have learned how to access that one creative power that's always available, that has been creating our life experience up until now, and we get to harness it to create something new and different and wonderful for ourselves, that's exhilarating. That is so powerful to be able to do that. And then our life up levels, it gets better. And that's wonderful. And we go along for a while, and then our life becomes like the same thing. It's a new level, but it's the same thing over and over again. And what's happened is we've changed our belief a little bit, sometimes a lot, but there's still some beliefs that are going on that might be hidden from us. So the idea in New Thought is to be able to use that creative power that creates everything to create a new life. And it's very simple to explain. Buddhism, on the other hand, the ultimate goal of Buddhism is enlightenment. It's pretty lofty. It's way up at the top of the mountain. So the goal is enlightenment, and the path is to alleviate or eliminate human suffering. Those are both really big projects. So when somebody gets involved in studying Buddhism, they know that it's going to be a big undertaking, that there's a lot of complexity, a lot of detail, there's a lot to learn. There are lots of different Buddhas who teach different things that mean different things, and that's okay. And we're actually doing the same thing. It's just that we're doing it with a different approach. The trick is easy when you know how to do it. There's one power, we're it, and your new life begins with a new thought. And what happens in a New Thought community is that we get together every Sunday and talk about the same thing from a different perspective, hopefully making it interesting, telling some stories, making it a little bit richer, getting into some of the details about how we work it and how we can make it work for ourselves and for other people. But basically, there's one notion that you can say in a single breath. And we get to go into the detail on it. So we learn it and our lives change. And I mean, the people in the room, you can raise your hand. Have you had a life-changing experience because of the New Thought teaching? And the answer is yes. I mean, I know for everybody that there has been some of that going on. And it works in jobs. I've manifested lots of wonderful jobs after learning this teaching with some great stories to tell about it. It works in our relationships, our friendships, our coworkers, people in our community. It works in our prosperity and our experience in our finances. It works in our creativity, our purpose in life, what it is that we're doing with our time and our talents and our skills. It works in our wellness, our health, our fitness, our vitality. We've got lots of stories about how there has been dramatic and wonderful and sometimes subtle and fun change in our lives. That's great, and that's wonderful. Then what? Then what? Okay, I got this thing going on, and so now what do I do with it? And that's where people sometimes get to, okay, so I've been doing this for a while, and it's the same practice all the time, and I'm able to do that, but what do I need the rest of it for? The trick is to focus on what you're going to do next. And for me, the great ways to do that are to connect with other people who are doing the same thing, because then we can support each other and resonate, to work with and help and support each other. And to be in community. To be in community and to connect and to deepen and have fun together. There's a lot of different ways that we can connect in community. So, this is a very simple teaching. And we have the Sunday celebrations that we get together for every week on Zoom and hybrid in person like we are now. We also have classes. So there's an Adventures in Spirituality class that's going on now, which is an opportunity to take the next step into this, to dive in, to challenge some things that we've had going on before. We're doing meditations twice a day on Zoom. So you're welcome to join in on the meditations. You're welcome to lead the meditations. I have done thousands of these meditations. I'm happy to continue doing them. And if somebody else wants to do one, I'll turn the reins over. And if somebody else wants to do something that brings the teaching or the community together, by all means, do that. Carolyn, one of our practitioners, is in Milwaukee, and she just kind of took charge of the meetup group, because we've got 1,700 people in the meetup, and so she's going to be our ambassador with the people in the meetup. What's that going to mean? I don't know. It's a universe of infinite possibilities, so she has the opportunity to do that. And as we started talking about that, there are a couple of events that I'm going to be involved in this summer. One of them is a huge interfaith event called the Parliament of World Religions. It's going to be in Chicago in August. And I'm going to be going, and so I've asked Carolyn to make sure that we've got the meditations covered while I'm gone. And so she's working on that, and then she got invited to go too. Because she lives in Milwaukee, it's a relatively local trip for her. So now we have the double challenge opportunity, possibility. What are we going to do with meditations when both of us are in Chicago at the Parliament of the World Religions? And the answer is, I don't know. It's not my business. I do know that New Thought, which is the group that we're going as part of, has some sort of a meditation space, and the people in New Thought have no idea what to do with it. So perhaps Carolyn will be hosting the meditation from the New Thought meditation space. They were trying to sell them, and none of the denominations, none of the groups from all of the world's religions could figure out what to do in one of these spaces. So instead of selling, they gave them away for free. So it's like, oh, we got this space. What are we going to do with it? I don't know. Maybe something will happen from Chicago. Maybe not. It doesn't make any difference. Every year on the 4th of July, I ride my bike from Philadelphia to Valley Forge, kind of to celebrate being in Philadelphia. And I've opened that up to the community, and a bunch of folks have gone with me. And this year, Breen and I were riding back and forth from Manayunk to Valley Forge. And Breen says, wouldn't it be great to do a New Thought Philly ride from Independence Hall to the Valley Forge Visitor Center? Or near there? And I said, great, sure, let's do that. And then as we're talking through the logistics, is we'll start in Valley Forge because it's easier to get parking there. And so that's going to be the opportunity for next year. So when there's something that's interesting that's singing to you, that you can put a New Thought spin on, bring that into being. Make that happen. Make it work. Sandy's been running women's circles for years and years, and a while back she said, can we have a New Thought Philadelphia Women's Circle? And I said, sure. What does that look like? Because I don't know. I've been invited once. It was a special occasion. And the answer is yes, we can make that happen. It's very easy to take an activity that we want to be involved in anyway and turn it into a community event. And we do that by bringing some prayer into it. Some prayer and some intentionality, and the way that we deal with people just is in alignment with the New Thought teaching. Which, oh, by the way, once you get into this group, you're learning to live that way anyhow. And it just happens. We're doing a weekly Power of 8, which is wonderful. Sandy's also taken the lead on that. And she's delegating and sharing the leadership of it. And we get together once a week for this intention-setting Power of 8 circle. And it's just happening. And it's an opportunity to connect together in community once again and make something happen. In the past, we did a book club. The woman who was running the book club got a great job out of town. So that prayer worked, lost the book club. You want to have a book study? Have a book study. You want to know how to do that in part of New Thought Philadelphia? Just ask me. I can suggest that, and we can make that happen. There are so many ways to connect in community. And that's what it's about, conscious community, because the group is about consciousness. And when we connect with others and resonate to do things outside, we bring more of that love and more of that consciousness and more of that good into the world. So there had been some conversation about wanting to do something that's a special event that will attract people in, that's not a Sunday morning celebration or an online Zoom meditation. So next Saturday, we're doing a gong bath and a sound healing, and it's going to be at the Yoga Garden. So it's a yoga studio in Narberth. Get together for a couple of hours, and Angela's going to come in with the gongs and make a wonderful noise, and we're going to get to do a meditation which is different than anything we usually do, and invite your friends. There are people who are looking for exactly the sorts of things that we're enjoying doing all the time. And that's how we open up to conscious community. And oh, by the way, when those other people show up and they're excited and they learn the teaching, they're going to want to do more stuff and invite us to it. And that's how we get to deepen into what we're doing and expand what it is, rather than having it be same old, same old. You want to do volunteer work? There's a project that you want to be involved in? We went to the hockey night for Project Home in February because Annie was very supportive of the organization, so said, let's put these things together, and it happened. We've done volunteer projects with the soup kitchen and with giving books to inmates. There are lots of different ways we can do that. If there's something that's singing to you, let's talk about bringing that into community and supporting each other and participating with each other. Dina has been talking about wanting to get back and do something creative again. And I said, I completely support you in doing that. What do you want to do? She says, maybe I want to do another Artist's Way group. We did one 15, 20 years ago. So The Artist's Way is a wonderful book written by Julia Cameron. And it involves a very simple process that allows you to connect in a group and deepen into your creativity. So we're looking at putting together an Artist's Way group starting in the fall. In a few weeks, we're doing a tie-dye party. We get together in the park, and we do tie-dye. Sarah is passionate about tie-dye. Now Breen and Jane are passionate about tie-dye. Others are getting passionate about tie-dye. Make something happen. You want to have a concert, you want to have a special event, you want to do something, a cookout. The sky's the limit. As we open ourselves to the new possibilities open up. Breen's been working, how long have you been working at your current job? And they're now inviting you to do 4 years? 4 years? And now they've invited him to lead a company meditation. So he's going to be doing that. And yeah, there are wonderful ways of bringing consciousness and this community into the world and bringing uplift in. And if you're thinking about doing something and it seems like it's going to be hard or a lot of work or strenuous, don't do it. Find something that's going to be uplifting and joyous and fun and put some pep in your step. Do that, because that brings more and more of that wonderfulness to the world. And oh, by the way, winds up opening the possibility for people who are looking for the sort of teaching that we're doing and looking for the sort of inspiration that we can provide with the music and the talk and the reading and the experience on Sunday mornings. It opens up the door so that they can find us, so they can come in. Buddhism and New Thought are very similar processes, but on vastly different timelines. We do not need to climb all the way to the top of the mountain and reach enlightenment before we're done. We set an intention, open ourselves to that infinite creative possibility, claim something new and wonderful, get out of our own way, and so it is. So the idea is to start by learning it. And the second step is to live it. And the part that some people find a little challenging is that they bump up against their belief system, where they've been changing things and things have been getting wonderful, and now suddenly the same thing that's happened to me before is happening to me again. And there's frustration. Oh, this isn't working. Well, yeah, it's working. Go back to what we say at the beginning. One creative power, one power, love, intelligence, force that creates everything, including each of us. Okay, and we each use that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives, according to our belief. So if the experience that we're having is not the one that we want to be having, there's probably something in our belief that's getting in the way of what we really want to be having. So then there are the little dirty processes that we have to go through, which are never any fun, like surrender, which is where I have to let go of my attachment to things being the way that I want them to be so that I can have a new possibility show up in my life. Or if there's something that happened to me before and I'm still carrying energy about it, the process is forgiveness. Being able to put down that which is no longer serving us and open up to something new. And how many people, when you come into a New Thought community for the first time, say, I want to do some forgiveness work. I want to let go of the things that have been important to me so far. So, we don't talk about that at the very beginning. We mention it every once in a while. There's a lot of it in the classes. There's some of it on Sunday mornings. But it's part of the process, according to our beliefs. So this is all a process of learning to change our belief system, to understand what it's been, to change it, and to open up to new possibilities. And the way I describe the process is innovate, evaluate, and iterate. So innovate, do something new. We know that doing what you've been doing has given you the experience that you've been having, and presumably you want to have a different experience because otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it. How are things? They're going great. Okay, what do you want to change? I don't want to change anything. Okay, well then let's not have a conversation about change. Let's tell stories about how happy you are. So we want to do something new. So we have a new idea, we have a new thought, we set a new intention, and we get involved in a new activity and allow the infinite to create something new, and then we evaluate. We look at it and say, is that really what I wanted? Is that really what I wanted? As I was sitting there and the lawn was turning brown, and I said, I'd really like to have a lot of rain, and then there's flash flooding. It's like, no, there's a balance point that I'm looking for here, so we're going to evaluate, and then we're going to iterate. We're going to do a new version of that new thought. So instead of wanting to have all of the water possible, I want to have the perfect balance, the perfect amount of water pouring down upon my house and my lawn, my property, and my yard. So enough to feed the grass, not enough to flood the basement. And we don't have to get it right the first time. We can look a fact in the face and know that we want something different, set an intention, and then when we get that new experience, say, I'm open to even more. I would like to have even more of this wonderful, uplifting experience, or say, it's not exactly the direction that I want it to be going. We are free to choose. And that's the consciousness part. And when we do it in community, there's the opportunity, first of all, to talk to other people who know what we're talking about. And second of all, to get support in bringing that newness about. Because, as I mentioned, there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything. And we're all sharing. We're all expressions of that same one power, love, intelligence, or force. So if I want something to be happening in my life and I have a disbelief about it, I can go talk to a practitioner or a friend or somebody else in community, and they don't have any of my blockage. They're not carrying any of my baggage. They can help me know the truth and open up that new possibility for me, even if I'm not completely able to do it myself. So that's what we get to do. We get to invite in something new, and we get to do it in community with these awesome, friendly, wonderful people. And it's an opportunity for love to unfold again. So live it. Learn it. Share it. Connect with it. Because you deserve it. So it is.
Believing that there is one divine intelligence that governs everything, I affirm that this intelligence is acting in my mind, causing me to know what is best and to do what is best. I open my mind to new thoughts, new ideas. And I know that as I do this, new experiences shall come to me. Believing that there is one presence animating everything, I recognize this presence in every one I meet, in everything I do, and in every circumstance that confronts me. Therefore, I rest in peace and in the quiet confidence that